Game on, ladies and gentlemen. We are at Division S North America. Yes, you heard right. We have the Lost Boys going up against Looking for Work today. The number 1 against the number 2 in Division SNA. Going to talk about this in a moment, but let's take a quick look at our players. On the left side on Dragon Shire, our first map in the best of 5, we have Killusion on Anduin, Crone on Hanzo, Zergling on Dehaka, Cattle on Muradin, and Hosty on Sylvanas. And over to the right side of the map, Looking for Work with Dark Chimera on Ana. We see Fury on Johanna, Swaps McGoo on Leo, Droplets on Junkrat, and Casanova on Jaina. And already in the talents, you can see that they made a couple of adjustments to the patch. First of all, we have, of course, Perfect Storm here taken again. And that doesn't really come as a big surprise. Neither is the fact that Muradin is played on Dragonshire a big shocker. I mean, generally speaking, he's obviously a lot more powerful now after the rework, but even before that, he was played quite a bit on this map in particular. Hold Your Ground as a level 1 talent already taken here. And this is actually the NA number 1 against the number 2, and it starts off with a bang. Johanna gets locked down and taken out. Nicely done here by the Lost Boys. And yeah, we have an A today, so pretty much the idea here is to occasionally take a look at the North American scene and cast a couple of the games that they play over there. Unfortunately, obviously, because of the time difference, it isn't really possible for me to cast those matches live. It would be in the middle of the night for me, but to my knowledge, we have a couple of aspiring casters commentating the games, Gravesville and Barmwood to be exact, but none of the big names in North America are streaming those games if I'm not mistaken. So with that in mind, I thought we would provide a little bit more coverage on some of the matches that are being played here, especially since the videos are obviously also going to end up on YouTube. And so I have quite a bit of a following also from Americans, from people living in NA. It makes a bit of sense to try and provide some extra coverage for them as well. But yeah, so let's have a look at the North American meta here. We already, as I said before, have a slight change here with the Hold Your Ground on level 1. Looks like we could see a solo kill at the top there. Zergling has to pop the Essence. We're having Cattle the entire time, just trying to zone out the Siege Giants here, as the rest of his team is going for the quick control of the bottom temple, of the bottom shrine. And up at the top, looks like Leo is in a bit of trouble here. Yeah, Swaps McGoo nearly going down. Looking for the globe now, that could help him. And in the meantime, we have in the middle also a bit of a fight happening as we see the first channel from Cattle. Dehaka still battling it out with Leo. And that little fight that we have between the two of them is starting to get dicey. There's actually a lot of big skirmishes happening right now. In the middle, at the top, at the bottom, everywhere people are just going for it. And Leo has finally started to take over the top control at this point, and is now therefore relieving some of the pressure that we've seen from Looking for Work. I mean, they're putting really a little bit of effort in, and I can appreciate that. I mean, if you're looking for a job, you need to pop up your CV a little bit. You need to also make sure that you're just showing your best side in order to make yourself hireable, and that's something that they do here right away. So, yeah, it's pretty impressive. It's exactly the way that you should approach this if you're looking for a job. And then again, up to the top. Okay, obviously there's a couple of other tools that you can use too, and if you listen to any podcast these days, then you know that ZipRecruiter is out there. They definitely help you with hiring the right people. If I hear that ad one more time, I'm going to throw myself off a roof, I think. It seems like every single podcaster these days is running that thing, but yeah, either way. They're looking for work and they might find it, but the one thing that they're looking for even more so is a kill, because so far they haven't found a single one, but we've only seen one kill earlier against Johanna. Here comes the second one though, as Jaina goes down, and that is kill number 2 secured, as we see the Lost Boys fighting a little bit of momentum. I kind of want to also address that there is definitely a little bit of a problem if you call yourself the Lost Boys and you don't play the Lost Vikings, so I expect the Vikings to pop up at some point during this series. If not, then that's an opportunity that is just let go for no reason whatsoever. So again, I have high hopes for this. We have the first Dragon Knight in play, the Lost Boys get it, and Cattle already positioning himself to the side to make sure that only one of the towers can attack him. Down to the bottom of the map, we still see Fury and Dark Chimera trying to get a bit of value here. In the meantime, we have 41 stacks for Sylvanas on her level 1, so she's really starting to add a bit to the test here, and went straight into the Festering Wounds as well. So Hosty is going to have a much easier time to get the stacks going for himself. Builds out of the pretty much what you would expect. The moral compass taken, the power word shield, not to be mistaken with the useless word shield. I mean, it must be really powerful. Honestly, these names of Anduin are insanely garbage, and I know that it's pretty much about World of Warcraft, but come on. The power word, the holy word. Anduin is just like, they need an orange skin for Anduin, honestly. I mean, he is literally baby Trump. At this point, he's like, I have the power word, I have the holy word, I have all the words, I have the best words, I have all the words, I got everything here. So yeah, it's a little bit weird. I mean, either way, let's not dwell too long on that for the time being. I mean, at least his hair is like better. He's a little bit better in shape. We have also, in terms of talents, Reverberation taken on level 4. So actually from Cattle, not really any shenanigans around the second proc for the healing static on level 13. And honestly, with that setup, I wouldn't really be surprised if he doesn't even go into it. 2 kills against 0 for the time being. But we have the attack against Hanzo. In comes Cattle, trying to get the Stormbolt in. Nice job by Fury dodging it. They're going for Crowan. And Hanzo might actually go down. Instead, it's Jaina falling. Swaps not in range for the Swiffer to the face, so he can't clean this one up. Eats the Stormbolt, and that gets another stack over to Muradin. So a bit of an unfortunate situation here for looking for work. They're looking for work, and they don't find anything. They're looking for a kill, they don't find that either. And instead, it's them actually getting taken apart here. That's the third one, the fourth one actually, that's falling in this game. And that gives us level 10 for the Lost Boys. 72 stacks already for Sylvanas. As you can imagine, that is not really great for the red team. If Sylvanas has already 72 stacks only 6 minutes into the game. So definitely a great job here by him. Nice drag. You come out of your ethereal form, the first thing that happens, you get licked by a dinosaur. Not quite the thing that you're looking forward to. So yeah, probably a little bit of a pretty disgusting thing actually. I mean, just think about that. Nah, I honestly don't want to picture that. But that being said, we have on the side of Muradin actually now also Playmaker taken. They go into the Haymaker, and we have also the holy word Salvation taken at this point. So yeah, Anduin is currently just talking to his teammates here. We have another channel attempt here in the middle. Like, don't worry guys, I got the holy word now. He should carry around a Bible instead of a sword. I mean, that one he can probably maybe even use. But, ooh, Isolation gets hit. And there's the dagger, and Sylvanas goes in. Host is saying, screw it, I got this. And he gets saved by Anduin for just a moment. But this is the kill as we have the nano boosted Jaina coming through. She herself gets taken out as well, though. And we have another kill against Anna as Crowan jumps in deep and says, well, I got this one, boys. 6 kills against 2, still a bit ahead. But experience has actually shifted a little bit. Muradin went down on the other hand. He was eliminated, and in the meantime, we're still having a push happening at the top lane through the camp. So at least for the time being, looking for work is finding themselves a little bit of value here. Not too bad. With that said, I mean, let's take a little bit of a look at the damage output actually. What do we have in terms of the numbers here? Hanzo with 22,000. At the same time, 16k for Leo, who has the top numbers on his team because of those little skirmishes that he was fighting out with the Haka at the top lane the entire time. Also means obviously that Jaina and Junkrat need to start to pad their stats a little bit. Talking about padding stats, Fury gets attacked here, and there's the Haymaker and the kill. Down they go. The arrow goes straight through everybody. Doesn't even connect with anyone here. Doesn't really matter though. Mission accomplished. They were able to take the camp away from their opponent. Siege Giants have to be defended against, but in the meantime, they're still chugging those rocks over towards the fort and start to take a little bit of damage towards it. 80 stacks by now for good old Sylvanas, and here comes the Thunderstrike. So yeah, after we already had the Reverberation taken on level 4, we have Thunderstrike now on level 13. As I said, doesn't come as a shock considering that he didn't go for the second proc for the potential healing static. Swaps gets Haymakered. What the fuck was that? I have no idea what he was trying to do with that entomb. That looked a bit like it was maybe fat fingering the arc here, or he just didn't turn properly. But yeah, if you're trying to escape and you want to just lock someone down there and make sure that you can run away from them. That wasn't really the angle that he needed to go for. Either way, down here we have Anduin with even more plays as he saves the Haka. Nicely done. And there's another Dragon Knight as we have Muradin rotate into the middle. The Haka obviously burrowed bot lane and was making sure that he's starting to get a bit of value here too with the rest of the team. So Dragon Knight number 2 for the team in blue. The Lost Boys doing well. And starting to really seriously threaten the first structures here. It's 9 minutes and 40 seconds in. The first fort has now fallen. Leo is currently looking at this, saying like, boys, I don't care. I go topside. I have some stuff to clean up here. The Janna is in the house, baby, and there's a lot of dirt at the top lane. I need to take out the trash here. So let's go for minion hunting. 13 is ready on the other hand for both teams now, and something else that we have is Jaina completing her baseline, which means that now we're talking also about Ice Block. Great talent for her to have. They're trying to stay a little bit safer here. Once again, the approach into the back line as Fury is starting to zone out damage, but the Dragon Knight is still alive, takes a second fort down. Was about to go down though, and they're trying to make the play for the Haka as well. Leo coming in again, has the Entomb, pops the Entomb, and gets taken out by Crowan as a thank you. And there's another arrow far and wide, but the kills, they still keep getting racked up by the Lost Boys. They might be a little bit lost, but they're finding a lot of kills. 11 against 2, that's what we're having here. Anduin is currently making sure that his teammates know that he thinks they're going to win bigly. Mini Trump is currently starting to make his way over. He has the words, he has all the words, and he's trying to put them into play here. As we have once again an approach for the next structure, and now with a big pressure play at the bottom of the map, they're aiming for the first keep of the game. 2 still down, and them closing in on 16. Looks brilliant at this point for the Lost Boys. This is just a dominant performance by them here. With 16 also in their hands, we still have Muradin with the ability to... Oh, there's another Entomb against 3. Haymaker is up again, could be used there too, but Cattle has to jump out. Anduin is keeping everybody still in play. And we still have... Yeah, Hosty! Oh, jumps in really deep and is trying to get out with the second wave. But dude, that was just a little bit too much. There's the drag against droplets, but Zergling might have asked for too much trouble here, and that's the second kill secured as we all of a sudden see looking for works, jumping in to get those kills. Easy peasy. 2 kills, starting to get back in experience now thanks to that. But yeah, Hosty definitely with a bit of aggression there. It's like, boys, I got this. I go 1v3 in the back line. Obviously trying to capitalize here on the Windrunner, but still, that wave was something that even though he jumped it, they were waiting for it. There's a nano boost actually on Casanova as they're trying to fight through this. Again, it's a 5 versus 3. At this point, you can definitely take those fights if you can force them somehow. They obviously still wait for 16, but still, they have the numeric advantage now on the map. Shrines activating again. So far, we have Muradin, by the way, not taking his 16 here. The entire time waiting for the stone form, so that he has at least a little bit of... thingy. Heals up and can... Oh, another Storm Ball. Quest completed. Alright, there we go. I mean, he needs to have at least a couple of tools that keep him alive in those fights, and Stone Form would be nice. Then again, Cattle has been specking damage the entire time, and he already has Haymaker, so I would assume, yeah, and he does it. He goes for Dwarf Launch. So he's trying to jump in and make sure that he gets the additional position against any hero in the backline to Haymaker them into the rest of the team. So with that said, already sitting here in the middle, just waiting for exactly that. And we're having the rotation down towards the bottom of the map by the Lost Boys as they're aiming for more camps. And obviously also additional experience. Leo is slowly starting to go for the Haka. This time Fury is also starting to move in. So they're trying to wait it out until we have Ana in play. And yeah, that should be a deck, the Haka. Cattle comes in and tries to help out, but still... At this point, with now also Jaina coming in, the arrow connects, but there's the Entomb. Even the Riptire is getting put into play, and that's the end of the dinosaur. Extinct once again, feels Batman. Cattle himself is also down. We have the kill nearly against Jaina, but a good ice block saves Casanova for another second, and Hosty is jumping from wave to wave, uses the Haunted Wave here, and Killusion comes in with the trade, saves him as well. So despite the fact that we have some nice plays here from the Lost Boys, they still lose 2. And that rotation worked nicely for Looking for Work, who are now all of a sudden starting to really make a case for themselves to be hired, because they're starting to get kill after kill. They're starting to dominate the map a little bit. Junkrat is already at the bottom trying to take over one of the shrines, and then they have a good shot at getting the first Dragonite in the game. And these bad boys scale. Indeed they do. Leo has the Entomb up in another 2 and gets it against Anduin. And that's a kill right there. And this is not the only kill. Hosty is also eliminated. And that's another staggered death as we're having the bot lane defended by Junkrat. Obviously the keep was already down, but the Dragonite is now taken. And they're starting to move through the middle. There we go, slowly and steadily. We are having the North American team of Looking for Work starting to gain momentum on the map to really do damage. And to also take a couple of structures down. They're still behind, generally speaking, but they're starting to take a lead in experience, and that isn't really too shabby, considering that with a 20 advantage you might be able to secure yourself another Dragonite and maybe snowball that even harder. Good damage output here still from Muradin, who's currently sitting at 25 stacks also for his level 1. And Muradin with 31,000 damage. It's not really too bad considering. 58k for Crone on the other hand. His Hanzo so far has been doing well. And then you look over to Jaina, and she has really started to take the top numbers for her team. Earlier it was swaps on Leo that had really nice impact on the top lane, but now it's a bit of a different story. And talking top lane, Zergling is at the top lane and is starting to take down another fort here, as that Dragonite is simply relying on the Dragon's Breath to take down those minion waves as quickly as he can, get some damage in. Fury with an early Iron Skin here already, and even uses the Blessed Shield for the disengage, willing to sacrifice the cooldown. Talking about sacrificing thing, the Dinosaur got sacrificed again. And yeah, Fractal ending all the way over here. But yeah, with that kill, we're now having even more experience for them. Down at the bottom, they invaded the camp. That was a nice attempt here from the Lost Boys to try and go for the Siege Giants and steal them away. But that didn't work out. In comes the Riptire. Gets a bit of damage in before Muradin can hammer in a Storm Bolt. And that Entomb, on the other hand, was a little bit too optimistic. That didn't catch anything. But they are nearly hitting level 20 now. They have that lead. Leo goes in for the slow, gets it against Muradin, but Anduin is there again. Nicely done. Anduin once more with a save and the play. But yeah, 20 is in, and we have actually Wintermute taken. Wintermute, we're having now also the Buried Alive. Another 20 seconds until Leo has his ult back up. And Buried Alive is now going to threaten Sylvanas and Hanzo a lot more. Talking about threatening things, Muradin gets threatened and taken out as, again, he doesn't have Healing Static, he doesn't have Stone Form, and he doesn't have Avatar. He went for full aggression build, and so far that has worked out in the mid game, but when we're talking late game, bit of a different story. 10 kills against 11, and Looking for Work is starting to absolutely rock it here. There's the rewind now for Muradin. We're also having the Glyph of Faith taken again, by the way, on 13. Comes the extra movement speed here. But yeah, with that said, Jojo still hasn't taken her ult. Currently, I would say indestructible. Still preferable here, but let's see what they're going to go for towards the end. This wall opened up is already setting themselves into a position where they can, with the Dragonite, go through the bot lane, get the keep, and maybe even get a little bit more. And obviously, claiming those camps now as well will give you an additional push that might even lead to the keep being taken out without you having to commit to it. But even if they just rotate in, I like that bush trap, honestly. I think that was a great idea, because if we have anybody rotating down to deal with a camp, they can immediately go for it. But talking camps, they're just threatening the one in the middle at this point. Bot lane obviously still gets some value as they're deep pushing the mid. The Haka finds himself at the top side and doing his thing. But I kind of like this trap idea that they had. If anybody would have rotated down and not checked that bush, then that could have been a potential kill here for them. Sylvanas is by now sitting at 115 stacks for her level 1, fully unfurling shadows. Hosty's stacking has definitely slowed down quite significantly. It was much harder there for him in the late game to get those stacks together. But on the damage numbers, he isn't looking too bad. 55k, that's on the level of Jaina for the other side. The Haka has in the meantime rotated down towards the bottom. Hosty gets a couple of additional stacks in as the rest is going for the camps. And this is starting to become dicey. We're 19 minutes in. If you take a good team fight here, you might be able to end the game as well. starting to make their move in again with droplets here at the side, poking. Good damage against Fury, but not enough. The Haka's taking the bot side now. It's all playing the macro card. Crone has, by the way, not died yet. Neither has droplets. So Hanzo and Junkrat, two heroes in the game that haven't fallen yet. Let's see if both of them can keep that record towards the end. And again, Killusion with a save here. Arrow comes in. The Haka with a contagion comes in as well. He's trying to get the damage through, and they're getting everybody low. They actually go, oh, they're tripping Tomb! And the double kill against Hanzo and Sylvanas, but Ana falls as well. Killusion is taken out, and so is Mirrodin. What a buried alive! Oh my god. Swabsmeku just won the game. They were poked down to a ridiculous extent, and then we have the massive buried alive. And the save attempt by Killusion on Anduin was actually really strong, but holy shit, that Entomb changed everything. That was pretty amazing. That was really an amazing Entomb there. And they got the insta-kill against Hanzo, and then also the follow-up with the interrupt against Anduin was great. I mean, first of all, of course, Killusion tried to save everybody with that, but that was just a little bit too much for them to handle. So looking for work after getting demolished in the early and mid-game, is starting to go straight in for victory on map number 1, Dragonshire. Well played by them, and looking for work takes the lead here in Division S North America in their best of 5 series against the Lost Boys. GG and well played. Game number 2, ladies. The Lost Boys going up against Looking for Work here on Alterac Pass actually this time. And boy, do we have a composition here for the blue team. After their attempt in game number 1 was cut short by the late game composition of Looking for Work. Now they're trying Killusion on Ana. We have Hosty on Medivh, Cattle on Mal'Ganis, Crone on Liming, always a highlight, and Zergling on Samuro. Alright, we have a Samuro, the big map, as on the right side. Fury spawns on Johanna, Casanova on Genji, Droplets on Hanzo, Swabsmeku on Blaze, and Dark Chimera is playing Anduin in the game. But yeah, so much for their team comp. I mean, there are stuns on the other side though. If you look at Hanzo, his arrow, the jet propulsion, Johanna, Mal'Ganis obviously thrives when there are no hard CCs against him. But it's definitely a setup where there's a lot of sustain on their ends. And Li Ming with a good nano boost, Crone can absolutely wreck them here. But talking about wrecking things in the early game, it looks like we're more so seeing the Reckoning heading straight towards Cattle, who needs to be a bit careful. Gets attacked again with a jet propulsion, and Mal'Ganis gets wrecked. Anduin actually the one to die. Honestly, in this particular setup, I can finally see the value of Anduin. Because as we said in the past, him running around with that sword is a little bit useless because he doesn't know how to use it. Apparently he cut himself a few times too often while trying to hold it, and then decided that it's just pointless to actually play with the sword, so he just keeps it on his back the entire time and throws light around. But you're going up against a vampire here, you're going up against Mal'Ganis, so throwing light around is actually something that finally gives you a little bit of value. And we could just see that. He got the final hit in against Mal'Ganis, and it doesn't come as a surprise. I would say that if Blizzard plays the lore correctly here, they need to make sure that Anduin does a little bit of extra damage with his little light bombs against Mal'Ganis. But either way, we're heading now into the first camps to be taken here, and 16 stacks already on Hosty. I gotta admit, in the early game, he is just killing it in that. Spray game is absolutely on point by Fury. I like that as well. So yeah, he has definitely all of the important things locked down. Having 6 stacks so far on the side of the Way of Illusion for Samuro. I mean, that late game with Samuro, of course, can be super crucial and annoying here. Still the same build for Johanna, heading straight into the Hold Your Ground. It's a talent that Europe experiments in, and they take it quite a bit, but at the same time, I would argue that right now Laws of Hope is still the priority for most Johanna players. It's the self-sustain that you really want, and that's something that's pretty fantastic. But with that said, we're now also having the additional talents on level 4 coming in. The full focus into the mirror image from Samuro. We're having Dominance now taken for Li Ming. And this is one of the games where it's really like all eyes on Crone. I mean, there's no other way to talk about that. With this particular setup, I expect Crone to be the one to try and take these fights. But so far, Casanova is actually doing pretty well, trying to shut him down early. And is playing really aggressive with this. Personally, I expect that we're going to see the Light Bomb this time, together with Genji. If you have a Genji Anduin set up, it's just perfect for getting a Light Bomb onto Genji, jumping into the backline, and then getting real value from the aggression. It's a combo we've seen in Europe a few times as well, and it can be quite brutal. So, yeah, it isn't actually too bad. It's something that I'm looking forward to, because that's a lot of aggression into the backline heroes. And especially when we're talking Ana or maybe even Liming, you could be able to get a kill there. So Zergling is obviously going to attempt to split push quite a bit in this game. We don't have an Abathar in that lineup, so there's no chance right now for them to play around a Symbiote and maybe even a copy later on and just raise down the structures with that setup through Samuro. But either way, we're having for now just the single kill that we saw a little bit earlier against Mal'Ganis. By the way, rides around on a soap bar. I'm not quite sure how that actually works. I mean, Mal'Ganis has maybe realized that he's a dirty, dirty frontliner and he needs to clean himself a little bit, and that's why he has the soap bar ready whenever something is happening here. But at the same time, I personally feel that's a mount that should be exclusive for the Janitor. I mean, if anyone needs soap, it's him. There's a lot of other mounts that we could see for Mal'Ganis, but that one's a bit of a weird choice. But hey, who knows? So right now we have level 7 talents in. That gives us Calamity, obviously. Things are starting to shape up a bit. That's a mount, by the way. Look at Zergling. That's a man that really... Oh my god, both of them. Ooh, baby, double money pick. That I'm gonna cast nothing else but North America from here on out. Double money pick in our second game. You gotta appreciate the style from the players. Yeah, that's how you ride a mount in style. So with that said, again, the aggression from Casanova. Here comes the Sleeping Dart. The camp so far not really focused. I mean, we had a little bit of a progress for the Lost Boys, but nothing too fancy just yet. Talking, by the way, about stacks and shit, we currently have Mr. Raven himself, Hosty, on 35, so he's actually getting really close to complete the baseline, which is fantastic for him. I mean, once he's done with that, he can play a bit more aggressive. Having still slight approaches every now and then towards the prisoner camp, but nothing really too forceful. Late game will be really interesting here. With Samuro on the map, late game is going to be a really, really interesting setup. But I like the way that Casanova is currently playing this. I mean, he's playing extremely aggressive. He's always putting pressure onto the backliners. Really keeps them on their toes. Edith is actually the one that has the most damage. Hosty has been killing it so far on the stacking process. Gotta appreciate that. And yeah. At this point, we're now having also 7,000 damage for Genji himself. The level 10 abilities are one level away. And let's have a look down to the bottom of the map. Zergling is still fighting against Swaps Magoo here. And yeah, I want to have a team fight. Come on, baby. Daddy is ready. Let's go. Let's fight for one of the camps here. Give me the 10, give me the light bomb, and then I want to see some Genji action. I want to see the backline action right there, and an Nano boosted Liming, obviously. That's really the moment when Crone can finally pop off again and show his skills. I mean, the lead in the series currently for looking for work. The Lost Boys, true to their name, lost game number 1. And there we go. The Dark Conversion. Alright. Fair enough. Dark Conversion for Cattle. We're going to keep our eye on that and see if we can actually get that through. And there it is. The Light Bomb with Genji. Okay, I'm a happy panda. Get the action in, boys. I want to see a little bit of that. Right now, we're having another chance to potentially drop someone in the backline here with a good setup, but yeah, they're just falling back from this. But it's more of an aggressive play for the camp now. But by the way, also coming back to it, the quest completed on Medivh. Baseline is done, so that is actually pretty sweet. And yeah, let's get this show on the road here. There we go. Already, Cattle coming in. Trying to make the plays here. Again, they have to play around the Dark Conversion. There's already this... Crone absolutely wrecking Genji with the Nano Boost. They actually stood around for a second because the Polybomb was on Genji and he said like, yeah, I'm safe. I just need this to not spread. And then Crone comes in And we're like, get wrecked, motherfucker. And boom! No chance lands. He was dead within a second. I mean, that was honestly insane. And they're not stopping there. They're going for Dark Chimera, and that's Anduin down. So we have 2 kills now for the Lost Boys, but holy hell, that was a kill. Crone with a Calamity kill right there. That was pretty special. That was actually the first big one. And they're not stopping. Nope, this time it's actually Hanzo that dies. And obviously they're going to get the first objective here. Easy peasy. Crone is currently feeling pretty good with himself, I'd say. That's the second kill he just secured for his team. And obviously now also have the first thingies. What are those fat guys called again? One right, Raider, and on the other side, Cavalry. The Cavalry is coming. And no, I'm not talking about Tracer here. By the way, talking about things that we have in the game, we got the Falling Sword. On terms of Johanna, the Falling Flail. She doesn't actually have a sword. But still, 20 could be cool. If they go into 20 and they play around that, that might be pretty amazing as well. So yeah, as I say that though, we have the push happening, and obviously, who do we watch out for? Ooh! And there we have it! The kill against Crone, Illusion, in go Johanna and Genji, and that's the double kill. The one thing that I actually didn't catch right now, we had actually the light bomb on Johanna instead of Genji. But I'm not quite sure if the damage was pushed out while Johanna was still in the air. Did that actually do damage? I gotta pay a little bit more attention to this the next time, because honestly, at this point, it really looked to me for a moment as if it didn't do enough damage here. Can't really replay that for now, but it's definitely an interesting setup. I expected the light bomb to be on Genji, not on Johanna. But with the setup that worked here, it's still pretty insane. If you get that into the backline, it's honestly crazy. I mean, it honestly doesn't really matter too much which of the 2 heroes you use. The whole idea is to just go into the backline and really get the damage out there. So yeah, we're gonna see how that's gonna work out for them, but they worked beautifully against this lineup. They got the 2 kills in the backline, they took down Ana, they took down Li Ming, if I'm not mistaken, and that worked just extremely well. And now look at that rotation that we're seeing down here. All that Swamp's Magoo has to do is buy himself a little bit of time. He still has the bunker up too. The Polymorph on the other hand, bunker is on the ground, gets burned down. They try to go for the kill, and they're gonna get it, but the boss is still being fought over. No dark conversion just yet. They're trying to make the play here. Cattle is low, and in comes Johanna. And Cattle obviously still has a couple of tools available here for himself. But the boss is taken. The problem is it's a little bit late, so they can try and poke that down quickly, as the top lane has already gotten a lot of value here for themselves. So yep, there we have it. There's the quick kill. Once again, the kill or the destruction of the fort itself. Down at the bottom of the map, Jojo is ready again. No, not quite, 20 seconds. Light Bomb on the other hand is ready for sure. It's really still that Samuro effect that worries me a little bit for the later stages of the game. And so far they're working around that again. There comes the Polymorph trying to control Casanova. Oh, ho, ho, ho. What a setup again. Quick kill against Anduin, and he's down just as they could have potentially used the entire combo again. He actually used the Light Bomb, didn't even wait for Johanna to get the Falling Sword back down. They were trying to make the play around Genji here this time. Crone with another nice wave of force that he used. Samura's defended the top lane, whereas the rest of the team is busying themselves taking down the fort bot side and making the play now also for the next prisoner camp. They're gonna go straight for that. But yeah, 5 kills against 3 and a level ahead again for the Lost Boys. So after the loss in game number 1, they're currently looking pretty good again. Question is just simply, can they this time carry it over the duration? Already the progress bar starting to work in favor of the Lost Boys. And again, they have a bit of momentum there. They're also the ones who will hit level 16 a bit quicker. Here comes the approach against Cattle. Keep, of course, Medivh in mind. He's going to try and save them with the portals, and does exactly that. Yeah, they're stopping the progress. 22 seconds missing against the 40 that we're seeing for looking for work. But ults are all up. Ults are all up. So they can go for the combo again with the Light Bomb here. We need to keep our eyes for sure on Anduin. He's still sitting here at the front. Chimera needs to be careful that he doesn't frontline it too hard. I mean, Fury and Swamp's Magoo are around, but still. We don't have 16 yet, and, well, they are behind, obviously, in experience, but once 16 heads in for Lost Boys, it's all going to be a problem. Samuro is actually still trying to get a couple of camps here, but actually doesn't take the opportunity to jump in. And instead, they're trying to make the play happen. Once again, portal, and they're retreating. This is a problem for looking for work right now. The Lost Boys have all the time in the world. They can just sit there, can make this easy peasy and say like, guys, let's just calm down, get 16, and then we'll make our play. And that's exactly what's happening right now. They have the harsh winds after the Shikuchi. We're currently having Mirror Ball as well. And, well, there's the kill against Anduin again. The quick move in, the Polybomb on the ground, and now nearly a kill against Casanova too, who barely moves out with a Swift Strike. But that setup was just fantastic. Damage output, what do we actually have here on Hosty? 24,000 for him, 29,000 for Liming. I gotta say, Hosty is currently killing it. His Sylvanas was strong in game number 1, at least in the early stages. Fell off then towards the late game a little bit more, as he was trying to be a bit too aggressive, a little bit too greedy. But right now, I gotta admit that his Medivh play, at least, is absolutely delivering. And they're just getting kill after kill after kill with their setup. Nice portals in the backline, quick polymorph, and then the play around that. Anduin didn't have a chance in the world. So now we're having another cavalry being sent their way. And with that, they have an opportunity to maybe take the first keep down. I at least expected 2 forts to fall. But yeah, 16 is now ready on both sides, which once again gives us also the fanaticism here. Okay, they can definitely try and force a fight here. They need to be a bit careful. Okay, they go for the front line. And keep in mind, Cattle has the Dark Conversion. There's the Light Bomb. And there's the jump into the back line again. Setup definitely working out, but Dark Conversion so far not used. And the kill against Johanna. Jojo is down, no save this time. Casanova jumps in deep, tries to distract them slightly, but in comes Cattle once again with Mal'Ganis, trying to go for the Dark Conversion, and gets wrecked. Mal'Ganis down, and that's at least the kill for a kill. Both of the frontliners are now gone. The problem is that the pressure is still on, and they're all low, but there comes the kill against Crone. Anduin is still down, though, and they make the play for Ana. Shield comes out from Hosty, but the problem is Genji is low, and Genji is dead. Genji down, the fort in the middle destroyed, the one at the top has fallen too. There's another kill against Hanzo, and this is starting to look a lot more difficult for looking for work than expected. With 3 heroes alive and even more push power coming through the middle, they might not be able to go for the core here, but they might actually just barely be able to get more damage in the middle and at the top, as both of those cavalries are still pushing in. And with 10 kills against 5, they're looking pretty solid on the kill count and also in experience thanks to that. So when it comes to level 20, they're definitely going to take the lead with this. Starting to move straight through the top. There's also another wall destroyed, a little bit of damage on the keep itself, just a sliver, but there's a couple of bosses up, and that's where we're seeing Medivh already hovering, thinking about it. Full focus, by the way, on Anduin with the Divine Star that we're seeing here. And I gotta say, I mean, game number 1, Anduin made the big plays to save everybody, lost the game then regardless, but in this one, so far we didn't really have him with impact. They're still starting to make the play right there. I'm waiting for the arrow of Hanzo. There's also the light bomb still available, so they can make that play if they want to. Fight is still something that they... Actually, at this point, for looking for work, fight wouldn't be too bad. Because you want to fight before 20 is there. Now, my problem is that what I talked about from the beginning of the game, we have now Samuro in play. And Samuro is going to just push these lanes. And this is exactly what we're seeing here right now. He's pushing the middle, he's forcing a reaction out of his opponent's team, and is already starting to jump straight up to the top lane again, while the rest of the team is focusing on camps instead. So Samuro is all over the place. We're having level 20 talents nearly in play now for the Lost Boys. Not looking that lost to me, to be honest. Yeah, Casanova is actually the one that has to defend the bottom of the map. But now with the prisoners being activated in another few seconds, level 20 around the corner, this is starting to become dicey for looking for work. They're honestly in a pretty bad position at this point. They need to win a team fight, and they need to win it big time. So with that said, we're already having Cattle in position here. Yeah, Droplets is actually going through the mud pit and gets slowed down by it pretty significantly. There's the setup again. Droplets gets actually away, just as we're seeing the polymorph being used here, the polybomb. But there's the 20 now. And they're getting the progress, and with the 20 they have another big advantage. Glyph of the polybomb. We're also having now the Wrath of Nethrisa. That's really a little bit of a tongue twister right there. And with that said, the three-bladed style as well. So you can't really let this one go. This is going to be fun, by the way. Heaven's Fury. Oh yeah, baby. Cooldown reduction. Whoop, whoop. And we're also seeing the Desperate Prayer. I mean, I can understand that Anduin is a little bit desperate considering how this has been going. Whew, that was a good setup. Crone is already low. And there is the hit. Good hits against the Samuro images as well. And obviously the cooldown. Look at that. 10 seconds on the ult for Johanna. And then she's going to have it back as we're seeing Genji going straight in with the Dragon Blade. Jojo can jump again in just another second. Is most likely going to use that. And yeah, here we go, baby. It's time to shine. Everybody moves around. There's the condemn. There's the kill and the double. And Anna plump. Down goes Medivh. It's a triple kill, baby. Are we actually gonna see a repetition of game number 1? Is that really happening? Ult is ready again for Johanna. If you go for the Falling Sword, this is one of the coolest things if you make it to 20 and you can actually capitalize on the cooldown reduction that you're getting from the Falling Sword. If you have a Samuro in play, then that is even more fun. But right now, this is actually starting to become a bit worrisome for the Lost Boys. I mean, what is this? Is Looking for Work the North American Team Russia? I mean, I know that the Russians are currently all the rage over there in NA, but yeah, if you want to copy something here, the comeback kings from Europe are definitely leaving a bit of a mark, and Looking for Work is kind of emulating that playstyle a little bit, if you ask me. Behind all game long, and then towards the late game, you start to win a couple of fights, and all of a sudden you're ahead. So right now we're seeing the play for Crone again. Oh, nicely done, waiting for the jet propulsion, jumping out. But talking about jumping, here comes Genji, and that's a kill right there. Oh, boys. It's happening again. It's honestly happening again. Ult is back in another 7 seconds. In the meantime, the core gets actually attacked by the boss here. Don't think that it's going to be too much of a problem with the objective now also being taken. And then we're going through the top lane. Boss has been claimed, and they have the pressure coming. And this is starting to become really troublesome. The Lost Boys are looking at this and they're like, guys, are you serious? Is this happening again? Is this going to be the O2 right there? I mean, at this point, they're starting to move straight through the keep. That's definitely going to fall. The only question is, can they finish the game here? And with everything that's barreling down the top lane right now, and Li Ming still dead for another 18 seconds, I would say there's a really good argument to be made that this is ending now. The arrow misses on the other hand. That's one ult already thrown out that didn't do anything. Here comes the ult again. Light Bomb comes through, and the jump from Johanna as she goes into the backline. They're trying to go for the core. They're trying to go for the kills, and they find them. Anna is down. Cattle is low. Casanova falls. But that boss is still fighting. Hanzo's dead too. Anduin. Oh, can they actually finish it? It's so close. 1,000 hit points and it's over. The 2-0 lead for Looking for Work as they take down the Lost Boys again. What a series. The comeback kings of North America with the 2-0 lead in the best of 5. Game number 3, everybody. The Lost Boys are down 0-2. Looking for Work is currently murdering this. They have an ingenious strategy. They get wrecked all early and mid game, and then they turn it around in the late game with a couple of well-picked fights and start to gain a lot of momentum and just win the game. So far, that has worked. And let's see if this time they're going to try the same strategy. But yeah, it's a little bit frustrating, I would assume, for the blue team. The Lost Boys are starting with Collusion on Oriel this time. Hosty on Lunara for the battery. Crone on Greymane, Zergling on Blaze, and Cattle on Diablo. On the right side, Looking for Work with Casanova on Gul'dan, Fury on ETC, Swaps Magoon Imperius, Droplets on Hanzo, and Dark Chimera on Anna. Alright, so already an interesting setup. We have a Lunara Oriel build, which is, generally speaking, already super interesting here to observe. On top of that, we see Diablo being played on Infernal Shrines, and that's where he is oftentimes banned out, at least when we're talking about Europe. Slight build adjustment here with the pursuit of Flame over the Echoed Corruption. And the first kill as Greymane is ripping Imperius apart. Alright, the Wolf goes in and takes down Imperius. Imperius was striding a little bit too arrogant through the battlefield here. Fury still with the spray game on point. I mean, these guys must be feeling good right now. If you turn 2 games around and have your 6.5 out of 10 moment, hashtag know your meme, then you must feel pretty awesome. I mean, the combat mechanics are definitely real in this case. Question simply is, can they close it out now and make this a 3-0 victory? And for now, they're actually trying to look for a kill here. Ooh! Swaps is missing the lunge and circling, no way, gets out. Yeah, we can pin that on Imperius here. Unfortunate for him, but he missed the additional stun, and thanks to that, the jet propulsion stunning them out for a moment, it allowed Blaze to move away from this. So therefore, no kill. Cattle, on the other hand, is a little bit in trouble here, as he's already getting body blocked. Swaps over Gul'dan, but is able to move out. 23 stacks so far. Hosty then again is pretty low. And the whip! Nice! Killusion with a save! But Gul'dan gets the kill. And they rag Diablo too. That is actually fantastic for looking for work. That seemed for just a second as if we could see the blue team move away again without a single death, especially after Whip Girl was able to push ETC back just as he was going for the kill against Lunara, but Bambi in this case still died. So Bambi dead, Bambi's mother dead, all the deers are dying. And yeah, Oriel, the girl with the whip, is still doing her thing, the female Indiana Jones of this series. Either that, or she's just really good in the bedroom, or a little bit kinky. I mean, it could be both. I'm not quite sure. I haven't really been there or anything. But if you have someone that can wield a whip as perfectly as Oriel, then you know that you're going to have a lot of fun with it. And that's apparently also why Killusion picked the hero. I mean, so far he's definitely enjoying it. Wasn't able to save Lunara here, but generally speaking, the plays are coming from the support. And we've seen Killusion with some excellent moves already. Game 1 in particular was pretty fantastic, as this was the game where he played Anduin and used his trade nearly perfectly here. But as it happens, we're now having on level 4 the Nature's Culling already taken. We're seeing also the standard build for Imperius, specking straight into the Valorous brand. The Battle Hunger here taken after the burn, the Impure. Still expecting the Holy Fervor for him on level 7. And Gul'dan is obviously fell flaming away here. All that fell, baby. Getting that out. 23 stacks on the baseline for him as we are seeing teams fight for the first Punisher. And so far, the lead for the blue team. Oriel healing everybody up here. Must be nice if you don't have to rely on mana. That was a nice whip again. I mean, look at that. Nicely done here. Oriel, Killusion, the plays, and now the slows, and maybe the kill against Swaps. And he gets away. No, Hosty with another kill secured. Nice. Well done by him. All right, so for now, Gul'dan gets also wrecked. And with that, we now have 3 kills against 2. And Oriel herself this time actually getting the kill here. Yeah, not bad. So right now, it's pretty much back to what we've seen in game number 1 and game number 2. The Lost Boys with the kills in the early game, winning the first objective, going for the kills here, going for another one against ETC this time, slides through and tries to put Cattle into a bit more trouble, but the wall has already been broken through. Killusion is frontlining it right now with Oriel, or nearly. The Splintered Spear is obviously now ready as well, as level 7 is in their hands. And Lunara has split off to the top lane to put that to some good use and push the lane out. But level 7 is now there for the opponent's team too. That fort, on the other hand, is down. And it's a fantastic first Punisher that we're seeing here for the Lost Boys. Really strong one. Not only the damage at the top thanks to Lunara, but also a bit more damage through Zergling's Blaze at the bottom of the map. And in addition to that, taking down the fort. I mean, hello, this is good. Okay, Holy Fervor and Echo Paddle. So Echo Paddle for ETC, usually a good indication that we are going to see stage dive. Normally the idea is that if you go into the added wave clear through Echo Paddle, you're trying to play ETC on the side lane and play a bit of a global style to have some macro aspects in your team composition. If that's really what they're going for, that's something we have to check out a bit later, but for the time being, just keep that in mind. That said, Dibbles is sitting on 89 stacks on his baseline, so he is starting to get a lot of value out of the Soul Shield, and has obviously now also a hit point pool to match all of that. Seeing the team starting to move down to the bottom again. Up to the top. Still that one-on-one setup that we had between Blaze and Imperius. But the camp invade. And obviously there is a lead in experience for the Lost Boys now. As in game number 1 and game number 2. They're trying to get that even increase with the kill attempt against ETC. That hasn't really worked out. Hosty still working together with Oriel here for the constant heals. But there's going to be a lot of zoning. Look at droplets. This is really low. Had to be healed by Ana, and on top of that also dropped the fountain. But they're getting zoned out nicely, and that's level 10. That is going to be level 10. And with that, we're now having our first abilities coming in. Oriel already going for the save with the Aegis. Bunker, so there's a couple. The Thornwood Wines, I'm a huge fan of that talent. Nice poke if you can afford to take it. It's fantastic. It's also great for the shrine. So we're going to see Hosty with a lot of poke damage here from the distance. And on top of that, they're also having Cattle with the additional slows and the Lightning Breath here. So when it comes to simple objective control, they are already in a fantastic spot here. Cattle is soaking a couple of the shots here from the fort itself. But here comes the rest of the team, and they have a lot of damage on that thing already. And that comes just simply as a courtesy of Lunara and all the damage she can push out. Plus, in addition to that, obviously Crone on Greymane. And when you get the Wolf on any structure, and he is going to rip it apart. And Crone is going to try and go for the throat here quite literally. And rip a few of those as well. Cattle again attacked here, but he has the hit point pool to really work around this. There's no stage dive, by the way. We are seeing him with a mosh pit. Also the Horrify. No Rain of Destruction, which we've actually seen a couple of times now. The Rain of Memes for the zone out, but not so in this game. Not in Division S of North America, at least not yet. And we have armament for Imperius, so no Wrath, no delivery system. But down here, the attack again. Gul'dan gets some decent damage out. Again, he went not into Echoed Corruption, but we're having him with a Pursuit of Flames. So it's all about the flame increase here and the continuous poke. They're trying to move it again. Fury already attempting to zone them out. Gets locked down though. Thrown in too. Fury in trouble and the wall stun. Lightning Breath comes in. But that's not enough. The Horrify was also used. Casanova. Uh-oh. That's a problem. No! What? Dark Chimera literally just yelling at Gul'dan, stand still! Stop moving! Oh, that was a nice dodge. That I would have laughed so hard if that miss would have resulted in Gul'dan dying there. But now the lead again for the Lost Boys on the Punisher, on the Shrine, and this time it's an Arcane actually. They're starting to jump in here with droplets already super low. Ana is just being super frustrated because she just can't heal them quickly enough. And Hosty is getting value, and even more value thanks to the Thornwood Wines. I mean, just take a bit of a look at the damage output here. 26,000. Granted, Gul'dan is keeping up, but only barely. And again, the setup here as they're making the play for swaps. Imperius. Turn around against Cattle. The lunge missing again. Swaps just a bit unlucky connecting these stuns that they're looking for. And we're still having Lunara with a continuous poke. Hosty is making the dream work here. ETC goes down, and Imperius, armament or no armament, is also going to bite the dust right now. Down he goes. So another Angel dead and wrecked. 5 kills against 2. The play for the bottom fort, and up at the top. This one is unlikely to fall, but has obviously suffered a lot of damage and could be taken out at any point. They're even going for another camp here, as Diablo is anchoring the play currently from the bot lane. Level 13 talents are now also available for the Lost Boys, which gives them even more momentum. I mean, seriously, they're looking fantastic here, again, as they did so often. It's only the late game that's a bit of a worry. But at this point, it looks like they're not even waiting for the late game. I mean, this is the second Punisher in this game, and they're already working on the keep itself, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, Gul'dan gets wrecked. And there's the Lightning Breath. They're trying to go for Fury, who barely moves out, but Crone is still in hot pursuit. And I think they're going to get this one. They're actually going to make the play for the keep itself right now. Lunara is still poking. And guys, we're talking 10 minutes in, the first keep about to fall. It's a 5 versus 4 right now. If Fury goes too deep for this one, he might get punished too. But the keep is down. Keep is eliminated. 10 minutes in, and they got it. It's a bit of a wake-up call, apparently, what happened in game number 1 and game number 2. So they get that. But yeah, let's take another quick look at the damage output here. 32,000 for Lunara by now. Gul'dan again is also delivering with the AoE that he has. But Lunara obviously with the poison here doing extremely well. The slows alone are also fantastic to set something up for the team. And just generally speaking, if you think about the slow that they have on their lineup, it's honestly a bit nuts. You have the poison of Lunara, you have also the oil spill from Blaze, that helps a lot. And on top of that, the lightning breath from Diablo, not even talking about Oriel's whip, and then also the jet propulsion. So there's a huge amount of CC that exists. Not only the hard CC with stuns, but also the slows that are available for them. It's like one of those lineups where you see Jimmy cry in the corner somewhere. It's just like, I just want to get my slow. It's honestly the dream for him here. There's so much slow around that you basically proc that level 1 talent with every single hit that you shoot through. But Jimmy isn't really needed in this case. They have a nice finisher with Greymane. They have Lunara here too. Triple backline is not something that is really too common. So yeah, it's pretty awesome for them. 16 also closing in. I mean, finally we have the 13 for them, which in this case it gives us, amongst other things, the Divine Rage. But obviously the aim is now on the 4 top side, and with level 16 so close, I would say that the Lost Boys are going to get the talent advantage without a trouble whatsoever. So now they're starting to jump in again. That's another 4 down, and with that said, we're now also having our talents taken, and that means that amongst other things, we're now having the domination. Time to shine! Dibbles already with 1 wall stun, there's 1 push, and Fury nearly died here. Horrify had to be used too. Great move by Oriel, simply saving the target there, making sure that nobody could capitalize on it, but that's already ults exchange. And another nice play that we just had from the Lost Boys. Super aggression against Fury, and it worked out well. Oh, that's a good arrow though. And they followed up with a mosh pit. Doesn't seem like they can. Drone is a bit low here. Might have to use the bunker. Catalyst just playing ping pong, jumping in and out, and has the domination ready. And in the meantime, Hosty is just doing what Hosty does. Pokes them into the ground, one after another. Damage output reflects it too. 41,000 for him now. And another structure eliminated. In this case, it might only be the fountain, but still, counts. And with such a massive lead, that shrine activating comes at the perfect moment in time, because it literally guarantees them that they can now start to make a play for even another Punisher. And that could lead us to another keep being eliminated, because in here in the middle, there's nothing left. There's no wall, there's absolutely nothing going on here for them. Drone is already on point with the rest of the team, so it means that looking for work is most likely going to let this one slide. Not really a whole lot for them to do. They need to split onto the lanes and get the experience, which is exactly what they're doing. Trying to get 16 so that they at least have even talents for the defense. So they realize that heading into the middle would be a huge mistake. Very likely they would lose the fight and then get completely destroyed in the follow-up. So they're trying to hold on to that hope that with level 16 talents they can maybe get a kill and prevent the core from falling. But obviously the Lost Boys, they have a bit of a different plan here. They've fallen now behind with an 0-2, so if they want to win the series, they need to take 3 games in a row. And we have seen a lot of crazy comebacks, honestly, in this entire Division S season. But still, that is a tall order if you know you have to win 3 games in a row against the number 2 in the standings that is aiming for your spot in your title. So let's see if they can pull that through. Here comes the ping-pong attempt again by Cattle, but he misses the stun into the keep itself. But what keep, you may ask, and for good reason, because that keep is pretty much gone already, and the Immortal or the Punisher is still at 70%. There's again the ult on Gul'dan, but Oriel reacting right away here. Nicely done, ETC. Still no mosh pit from him, and the Punisher wants a piece of the action. Fury is low and gets taken down, this time by Dibbles. They're going in for Casanova, and that should be the end of Gul'dan. He's actually kept alive by Ana for a bit longer, but Hanzo died, the shield is falling, the Zergling is about to get dropped, but nope, there is the quick bunker, and all of a sudden we're having 3 heroes down, and the core is falling as well. This is game as the Lost Boys put the point onto the scoreboard and take the victory on Infernal Shrines against Looking for Work. Game number 4, we are on Altars of Doom. And the Lost Boys are starting to make a comeback. And heading into game number 4, they have one question for you. You want Axe? And apparently the answer is yes, because Hosty is playing Zul'jin in game number 4, circling on Yrel, Crone on Liming again. We have Cattle on Johanna, and Killusion is back on Anduin, where you already played pretty well in game number 1. But unsuccessfully, trying to change that this time. Droplets, on the other hand, for looking for work, is playing Hanzo, Casanova on Thrall, Dark Chimera on Ana. Fury is playing Uther, so we have our main tank Uther, the double support here, and Swab Smack Goo on Blaze. Typical NA composition. I mean, if there is one region that really loves to play their main tank Uther setup with another support in the back, then it's definitely North America. And that is currently what we're seeing here in game number 4. And obviously with the double support you have a lot of sustain, so if there's some sustain fights you can do a lot with that. You have the extra stun coming in too. But let's see how that's gonna work out for them. Hosty already obviously trying to get some extra damage in, working on his baseline, trying to complete that as quickly as he can, and get also, on top of that, the damage stacked up. And in addition to this, we see the Headhunter. So obviously you're going to attempt to get the extra range increase. That's another advantage that you get after acquiring 15 stacks on your baseline. And once that you have both, you have actually a pretty good range. Like, you are sitting in a great position in the backline when you're trying to push all of that out. So that's something that we're going to focus on a little bit more. But at this point, we are currently having our setup there rotating with 4 man between the 2 lanes, and it's actually an invade on the camp. That is something you don't really see that often. A successful invade that early in the game with a poke. Hosty already a bit low. Thrall comes in. Okay, they let the camp slide for a second. That's gonna leash. Crone gets saved. Maybe I spoke too soon. No, Killusion. Honestly, Killusion is killing it on support. You can say what you want, but he is absolutely murdering it there. Zergling is jumping in, Hoops first, so once again the Yrel play. Fury with a stun against Crow, nearly getting the kill there. No Calamity just yet, but a jet propulsion that connects with Hosty, and that's the kill against Zul'jin. Zul'jin down on a good start for looking for work. That's the power of the double support in the early game in particular. An insane amount of sustain that you have with that, and this is exactly what we're seeing here. So right now, we're having slowly and steadily the stacking process coming up. Talking stacking, Thrall on 4 stacks only 2 minutes in. That is pretty meh. So let's see how quickly he can get more here, because that is still pretty disappointing for him. I mean, again, they were forced into a couple of fights, but it plays into the cards of the Lost Boys in the early game if they can keep Thrall for a little bit longer with an uncompleted Echo of Elements, because again, that second charge is pretty important for Thrall. Not only is it the self-sustain that you get through this, but also the continuous poke against your opponent. Nice connect with Hosty again. Droplets on his hands, so loses a lot of HP to that. But yeah, on level 4 now also the Voodoo Shuffle that we're getting here. There's quite a couple of stuns and roots out there, especially when you're looking at Thrall now as well. Thrall at this point going for the Mana Tide, old school build there. Makes sense, by the way, on this map, as we've been talking about this in the past, to not necessarily go for the Crash Lightning. Now, again, if you have another melee hero and you keep Thrall on the 4-man, you can go for Crash Lightning, but on the map like this, you normally don't get as much of a chance to stack the talent quickly. As we discussed many times in the past, it's mostly a talent you see on Volskaya Foundry and on Battlefield of Eternity. Interrupts keep coming, and obviously with the first triple altar phase, we have the top left, top right, just simply exchanged. 6 stacks by now for Hosty on the baseline. Thrall is still sitting on only 12, so it didn't really get a whole lot here. Doesn't have the second charge yet. The solo laners are moving between mid and top lane for the extra experience. But it's that 4 versus 4 battle at the bottom of the map. And we come back to our initial point. There is a lot of sustain right now, but the zone out works, and Killusion gets the channel through. Nicely done by the Lost Boys here. They might not have gotten a kill yet, but they are in the lead when it comes to the objective. Also this time, hold your ground, by the way, again for Johanna. So at least in North America, it currently seems that the recent patch has resulted in Laws of Hope not really being prioritized by the NA players anymore. Europe pretty much went back to Laws of Hope. Again, as I said before, we see both, but the focus is still on Laws of Hope for the self-sustain that you have with it. 15 stacks by now for Thrall. We are at this point 4 minutes in already, so it's a little bit of a slow one for him. 420 is usually when we see it completed at the latest, but not quite there. Yeah, the 420 is also called the California Thrall, but Casanova is not quite able to get those numbers in. But he's sitting one away. He's not too late. It's okay. We've seen better, but it's not too bad. Also, we have the Arcanite Axes now taken, so it's a little bit of an ARAM build. Suljin still the hero when it comes to ARAMs, and that late game damage output that you can get with Suljin is obviously insane. If you get your baseline stack quickly and you are also able to get your level 1 and your level 7 to a decent extent, then you are in a just amazing position to just murder people later in the game. Then again, Uther with the tank with a build here, going straight into the Holy Shock then, the Armor of Faith here. So yeah, full Holy Light for him, 5-minute completion on the Echo of Elements in the meantime from Casanova on Thrall. Still a bit of a poke there in the middle. Casanova against Cattle, 2 at the top. But it's a single altar that is spawning up now, and that's where all of the teams are going to focus on the bot lane again. We don't have the 10 abilities just yet, but by now 10 stacks on Suljin. Has 9 also on the Arcanite Axis. And once that we have those 15, the range increase is going to help. And what also helps is a kill. And that one gets pushed onto Thrall. And he might not be the only one, because the fight is continuing with Yrel jumping in for the slows. Suljin is coming in from the side, gets a couple of hits in there. Wants to get a few stacks together also for his level 1. That would be great for him. Increases the damage output too. And there's the first one. Secures the kill, secures the second. Hanzo and Blaze have both fallen, and that's 2 stacks now right here. So the damage increase that you get through that. Also the additional stacks on the baseline. It's now 13 stacks for him, a couple for the Arcanite Axis, and another altar also channeled through, which now drops the core on the side of Looking for Work down to 28 points. Level 10 abilities are also ready, which gives us for Yrel again this the standard. Camp gets actually invaded, so we have the Ardent Defender. Still actually waiting. I mean, I honestly don't really know how NA currently thinks about this, but Taz Dingo is kind of must-have. It feels a bit like it. There's the laser show on the other hand. Fury goes down. That's the death of Uther. And another stack acquired on the level 1 for Suljin. Anduin already with his own ult. Suljin hasn't made a move yet, which kind of lets me to believe that there's a realistic chance we're going to see the guillotine. He's about to also get the first quest reward, by the way. Still gets a couple of stacks together, but once he has the 15, the range increase is going to help him a lot. So that's going to happen any moment here now. And they're also working, obviously, on that bell tower. And if they get that, bot lane control is super important on this map. Absolutely crucial. And with 3 kills already secured, they only just need 2 more until they have the additional range increase, thanks to the level 1 talent. Level 10 abilities are ready for both, and with Uther at the front, we now have no Divine Shield, but instead the Divine Storm, trying to get the big boy stuns in. Jet Propulsion and Arrow can always follow that up, or initiate it even. Cattle is a bit low, but gets help from Zergling as he jumps in too. And another camp is already taken. Taking a quick look at the damage output, as we have double altar spawning. We have Suljin on 16,000 now. Now we can't keep up with the poke that Hanzo provides here, but it is really the in-fight damage where he excels right now. A little bit split though. The Lost Boys are slightly split, as we have Looking for Work trying to drive a wedge between the 2 parts of the team, and obviously looking to defend against the Pumpkins here in the bot lane as well, but everybody is rotating in right now. At this point, they're trying to get everybody into the action. Casanova needs to be a bit careful too. He's one of the 2 heroes that Suljin has to still take down, by the way. So keep that in mind. There's a channel. Yrel is actually channeling the mid lane in the meantime. Crone has to move away from this, and indeed, we have Guillotine. They went for Guillotine as the ult. 15 stacks on the baseline, so Hosty has now the range increase on that talent at least. That's going to help him a little bit with the extra damage. And yeah, he's getting quite a bit of stacks also for the Arcanite Axis. So his damage, as we said, is just ramping up completely. And they're already getting the kills. I mean, they're 4 kills in against 1. So they're already looking good. This is just the 1 versus 1, pretty much negates the entire play here. If nobody rotates in. Look at that. Thrall actually doesn't respect the 1v1. Actually, he does. Sundering against Crone, that didn't quite work out. And the kill against Suljin. No ult, no nothing. And there's the ult from Collusion once again, saving the ass of Johanna as Cattle was attacked here. Circling also a little bit low, but still has the Ardent Defender. They're still trying to jump for Yrel, and she will actually have to hop out from this one. So that Goat Girl hops out, double altar is still up, and those could both end in the hands of looking for work now. The 13 is ready for the blue team. The problem is there's still one player down, and Casanova gets the channel. The bot lane has already been completed, and there's 4 shots. And Suljin comes back, another 4 connect, and now we have a dead even game again. And keep in mind, looking for work has that lead. They only need to win a single map. It's all that they need to do. Win a map, take the series. And Lost Boys with their Suljin setup are trying to fight back against that. Level 30 now, the Eye of Suljin. They get a little bit more speed in. There's the kill attempt against Fury, and yep, they connected. So they get the kill right there. Can they get the one? Oh, Hanzo jumps out. But if they get Casanova, that would still work for them. Keep in mind, that's one of the heroes that they need to kill if they want to complete the level 1 quest reward for Suljin, which would make him even more of a monster. But his damage output is obviously increasing, as we said before. He's currently sitting at 23,000. Can't quite keep up with Crone on his Liming, but is still getting that single target damage in. That is also important right now. Casanova with the setup here again. Already the level 13 nearly in play for looking for work. The problem is they're still about to lose this one, and they indeed do. Guillotine gets dodged again. So far no value from the Talon. They're making the play for Casanova again. Arrow comes out. Great save from Collusion. He's always ready with that. But now Cattle is in trouble. And yep, and we're not even going for the ult here. It's the nano boosted Uther. Alright, Uther with a nano boost going straight in for the holy shock here and everything. But yeah, pretty insane, honestly. It's not quite what you expect necessarily, but it worked well. Now we're having top already about to be channeled out. They're still trying to defend at the bottom, as looking for work is obviously trying to reclaim their own bell tower. Now the hits keep coming here. Having also, amongst other things now, the 13 talents ready for the red team. So that helps them a little bit and gives us also the well met. Another guillotine. Didn't really do too much. Crone gets saved here for a second, but they still hold on to this. That's 3 shots fired against 5, so a positive exchange from the perspective of the Lost Boys. Doing well here and taking the lead again. But 16 is also something that they really want. And more stacks again as the game continues. Suljin's damage ramps up. He has 2 quests right now that stack infinitely, so the longer the game lasts, the better for Suljin. The better for his damage output if he can survive in these fights. And this is exactly what they're looking for here. So there's already the setup again up at the top. Suljin getting one attack in after another. Still waiting for the level 1, but the reclaim of the bell tower is nearly completed and they have to move away for now. But Hosty is doing well on this, and obviously with a lot of the focus being on Suljin, Crone has a little bit more space on the map where he can just deliver his own damage. As we said before, he has actually taken the lead in the damage numbers, but now level 16 is nearly ready for them. Another invade, as we actually see the pumpkins being attacked. Fury is moving in, looking for the stun. Iron Skin already used. The guillotine was once again hit, and nothing here. Hosty and the boys are moving back and now looking for work. He claims another pumpkin camp. Good invade from them. Urel wasn't there. They weren't willing to fight the 4 versus 5. And now 16 is just about to be in the hands of the blue team. So perfect timing here from looking for work. Really well done by them. And now back on the defense as we have after Arcanite access now. The wrong place, wrong time at this point. Plus, in addition to that, Fanaticism again. Also the Mirror Ball. There's a lot of tools here. But it's a triple altar phase. And now with another invade on the pumpkin camp, the idea is obviously to try and see if they can maybe even reclaim the bottom bell tower. I don't think it's going to happen for this one. Suljin back on the top damage, compared to Liming, obviously, that is. The exchange at the top left, top right should go pretty smoothly, honestly. Blaze is already channeling that through. That's 4 shots against 4, but the question is what happens down at the bottom of the map in this triple altar phase, as both of the teams are going to rotate their solo hero, their solo laner, back down. Poke keeps coming. And now, with 16 on both sides, and now also the Alpha Wolf, without the level 4 quest, by the way, without the Frost Wolf pack, but Alpha Wolf still taken, and Benediction, they still have the chance for a big boy team fight right here. Already, Casanova sitting at the side. Blessed Shield into the bush. What a kill! They knew he was there, and the blind Blessed Shield by Cattle and the insta-kill. What a play! That's a kill, and they're trying to go for the second. Swaps Magoo is in trouble, and he knows the 2 is trying to get out, but he shouldn't be able to survive this, and he dies. Nice! 4 stacks, by the way, on the level 1 for Hosty now. There's only a single hero that he hasn't killed yet, and that is Anna. Anna hasn't fallen yet, and they will get the quest reward for her as well. They don't even take the altar, and why would they? They can just simply go for the bell tower and try and control another one, get an extra shot in. But boy, what a fantastic kill here. That was honestly awesome. It was really, really awesome by them. When I was 7 kills against 3, they get the bell tower, they start the channel, they have the 1 level lead right now. And the Lost Boys are eager to get to game number 5, the final map in that series. The shots connect as we have now 21 against 14 points. So it's definitely starting to get a little bit closer here. Also, talking close, Hosty is really, really close to get his baseline quest completed. So he already got the first quest reward earlier at 15. Now he's just 3 additional stacks away from getting the second spin on the axis, which is going to be pretty awesome for him for the damage output there in the long run. So, talking damage, Crone is definitely getting a lot of that in. That guillotine actually at least trimmed Uther's beard a little bit. Didn't do much more than that. If he gets a bullseye later on, he can definitely do a lot more damage with this. But so far, that talent hasn't really worked out as quite as well as they were probably hoping for. Still, stacks keep coming. And Suljin is doing well here. Always, obviously, covering also for Li Ning. The auto attacks are still there. Ana needs to be careful. That Chimera is the only one on the red team that hasn't fallen yet. 29 stacks, gets another couple of hits in. Nearly done with the 30, and then we see the extra spin for Hosty. It's a big, big tool, and yep, there we have it. Obviously can still stack it even more, but yep, there we go. Gets more damage in, gets more stacks in, and now he has a much easier time to get some numbers onto the level 7 talent. Single altar spawning, and still the control through the bell towers for the Lost Boys, but good damage here from Hanzo. I mean, right now, droplets with a couple of nice hits. That's a really good move there with the Sundering from the side. Great flank. Hosty! Oh, that one hurt. Finally, good connect here as Fury gets dropped low. But Hosty still getting healed up. Good save, by the way, again from Collusion. Collusion is really rocking it with Anduin. You can say whatever you want about the hero. And Anduin is definitely a bit of a crybaby, but damn, Collusion is really, really putting that hero to the test. So now we're having Thrall dropped again, a bit too far out. And if you ever played Thrall, you know exactly you can't be that far out at the front without any help whatsoever, even with a double support. So he gets racked. That's another 5 shots that are going to be fired. So they're going to be dropped down into the single digits. Yep, there we go. Shots are fired, and that's 9 points on the core. And we're still having the additional damage output for Suljin, who by now is easily taking the top damage on the blue team. And obviously, as the game continues, is going to look to take the top damage in the game itself. 59,000 damage at this point. Fury goes in deep, but there's no follow-up, and Fury... Okay. Fury goes down, and there's another big hit, and the 20 takes down Hanzo. Nice! Well done here. They have the Storm Talons, and the Buzz Saw is taking the kill. And again, all of this comes with the level 1 talent, not even quest completed. They still need the kill against Ana, so the range isn't even as big as it could be here for him. Talking Ana, she's sitting right there. And at this point, Suljin is already saying, boys, we need that. If you get that Blessed Shield out at any point, let me know, because I'm going to have my ult ready and we are going to drop that girl. Talking about dropping thing, down goes that bell tower, and all of a sudden it's full-on control for the Lost Boys. They go for the boss, nobody can stop them. 2 heroes are down, there's just absolutely no chance. That boss gets murdered within seconds. They have now the Indestructible again, they have the Seraphim for Urel. It's a great setup. There's 4 shots fired as the red team attempts to take down one of the bell towers, but obviously it's now 5 points on the core. 1 altar is all that you need right now. Even if they reclaim this bell tower, which they obviously will do now, you still cannot give up that altar. This could be the final straw, because right now we're looking here in the middle. It's still 5 against 3 when it comes to the control, and things are definitely dicey. So Hanzo is already waiting for the perfect arrow setup. If they can maybe get a good Sundering and push the team into a corner and follow up with the arrow, they might have a chance here. But right now, things are looking pretty grim. 10 kills against 3 already tell the tale. And obviously the damage output that we're seeing on the side of Suljin is only getting increased here as the game continues, as we've now highlighted multiple times. And this is the late game that he was hoping for. We're only 19 minutes in, but already at this point his damage is insane. 20s already on both sides now. That at least gives them a fighting chance. Zergling has to pop the Iron Defender and goes down instead, gets stunned out, and that's the kill that they needed. Looking for work. Can they do it again for the third time? The nano-boosted Uther is trying to get some value here. Hosty gets saved and actually dodges the Sundering. Gets saved again. Nice use of the Glyph of Faith here. In the meantime, he's also on 81 stacks. There's the Chandler's Dark Chimera is going for it. There's the Iron Skin and the Flashlight with the interrupt. They're trying to buy some time, but it's going to be a bit dicey to really get enough value out of this. And the mid lane is already getting reclaimed, as we have at least the top attacked. Yep, there's a couple of shots fired, and all of a sudden, having 18 against 5 points. It's not over yet. It is not over yet. And Swaps is reclaiming the middle. Oh, this could still be... Guys, honestly, if they turn it around again, if Looking for Work pulls that off 3 times now in that series, that would be crazy. So Hosty with a Buzzsaw is obviously looking for another kill. They still want Ana. Ana is the only one that hasn't died yet on the red team side. When we're looking towards the blue team, we have Crone and Collusion both without a single death yet. That earlier kill that we saw against Ura was fantastic. The stuns were absolutely spot on. I mean, honestly, it couldn't get any better at this point. Talking about stuns, there's a double stun and the kill against Crone. The ult of Collusion is a little bit too slow. In comes the additional Sundering and they nearly get the kill against Johanna as well. What a setup again. Every time in the late game, for some reason, Looking for Work, they need that late game pressure and they have another chance of turning this around here. 5 versus 4 for a little bit longer. They're trying to get the bottom bell tower right now as they are moving in for this. But Hosty is still stacking. He's at 101, 102 stacks on his level 7, 45 on his level 1. His damage numbers are increasing, but the momentum is starting to shift over to Looking for Work. In comes Urel again. They're trying to make the play for Swaps Magoo. Jumps out. Hosty low, trying to go for the ult here too, and has taken over the main damage in the game by now. 94,000 for Suljin in terms of damage. Double altar on the map. 10 seconds for Li Ming to be back. Li Ming is going to be back in just a few. They need to buy a bit more time because the altars are already active. They're trying to go for the interrupt at the bottom. Swaps gets interrupted. Here comes the play against Urel. In the meantime, there's the channel. The axis comes spinning. And the interrupt is fine for now. Urel, on the other hand, is dead. Another staggered death every time. The Lost Boys are starting to lose some momentum here, but Hosty is still on a quest here. He's a man or a troll on a mission, and he is getting that damage in. One hit after another. Buzzsaw is ready as well. They're trying to get the kill there. Ana is already channeling the altar up towards the top and gets it through. That's another 4 shots fired. Arrow is missing this time. And here's the Buzzsaw and the kill against Uther. Uther goes down, 104,000 in damage right now. Suljin is absolutely killing it. But Uther, he is going to be back. Redemption makes it possible. The damage comes through again. It's a 5 versus 4 once more. And they're trying to get the, I was about to say the bullseye connected, but instead we're having here the perfect agility taken. The hits keep coming. There's already another stun. And the save from Collusion. Anduin, always ready. Great plays here from the support player on the side of the Lost Boys. He's definitely rocking it. Guys, we are 23 minutes into this right now, and all of a sudden the entire game is open again. 5 against 10 points on the core. Looking for work. They're looking for the 3-1 victory. They want to win this right now. They don't want map number 5, and I can't blame them. They're starting to go with all the aggression they can muster straight into this, but at the same time they have to deal with that Suljin that is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And obviously the next few altars are going to decide a lot here. We still have a boss up on the map too, so that's another 4 shots that you could get. Yep, there's also the pumpkin camps taken at the bottom, the altar at the top getting pressured. But it's getting dicey here. One team fight is all that you need right now. Crone is already there, trying to fire through. This time they are with 5 men in the mix. Earlier they had those staggered deaths. The 1 kill against Urel definitely hurt them. And now with a 5-kill lead, we have the Lost Boys with a little bit of comeback momentum here. Trying to make the play. Urel jumping in already. They're looking for the fight. They're looking for it right now. Looking for the play. And the boss of Fury! Oh, and he goes down! He goes down, and I don't think he has his redemption up again. Didn't go for the ult either. Fury on the run, just trying to heal everybody. And yep, there's the kill. Redemption wasn't up. Great setup though. But the ult again from Anduin. Every time. Killusion, Killusion, Killusion. Swaps Megu on the jump back as we are seeing the Lost Boys with full charge here. And there's a double altar on the map right now. They're trying to go for it. 57 stacks on the baseline for Suljin. 132 on his level 7. Ana still hasn't fallen, so the level 1 isn't completed. But they're trying to make the play for the double altar right now, and for good reason. One hero down. Uther not in the mix. This is the chance that they needed, and they're starting to make the play. The zone out is already happening as Catalyst trying to prevent the worst here. The Buzzsaw is not connected with anything, but we see droplets fall as Crowan goes for the kill. Thrall again with the hits, but no! Crone is going for the double as he drops Blaze, and now Thrall is eliminated too. 1 point on the core, and here's the final channel, ladies and gentlemen. It is over. At this point, Ana dies as well, and that is game as we see game number 5 coming up between the Lost Boys and Looking for Work at Division S North America. Game on, everybody! Game number 5. The Suljin setup was successful, and the Lost Boys have finally forced map number 5 here. It's actually pretty impressive. 2 wins in a row for them now, and it all is decided on the last and final map here, Tomb of the Spider Queen. Killusion this time on Morales. We have Crone on Gul'dan. We see Hosty on Reyna, and Cattle on Nubarak with Zergling on Blaze. And over to the right side of the map, Fury is playing Arthas this time, apparently in the main tank role. Casanova on Tassadar. We have Dark Chimera on Malfurion, Droplets on Tracer, and Swaps Megu on Leoric. So we're actually seeing a double support Tracer setup here for them. And from the perspective of Looking for Work, this is a pretty annoying situation to be in, because you're literally looking at a setup where you already were 2-0 in the series, and all of a sudden you have to fight for the victory in the best of 5 on the final map. Not really where you want to be. And we had some insane games on the other hand. I mean, the plays that we saw from Collusion and Anduin alone were pretty impressive. Then that setup that we had with Suljin, super damage in the late game. Again, by the way, the build here with the Pursuit of Flame, so Fell Flame focus on Gul'dan. We've seen it now from both sides, so no Echoed Corruption builds from them. In the previous games in Europe that we've seen from Mene, for example, on Gul'dan, we still have that focus on the Echoed Corruption and Luna's Affliction, but at least here in North America, up to this point at least, within this series, we've seen mainly a Fell Flame focus by the Orc. So for now, Crone has to showcase that he can't only dominate on Liming, but that he also has a pretty good Gul'dan to work with here. When it comes to the talents, we're still having on level 1 for Leo, the Orson's Renewal, as Swaps Megu is swiffering the place clean at the bottom of the map. Droplets even moving in. Wants to get a bit of extra damage out. And it's obviously all on Trace at this point. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are other heroes that can really deliver quite a bit of damage. You have Wave Clear on the side of Tassadar, on the side of Leo. You have Arthas for damage output too. But when it comes to really getting those kills, it's really on Tracer to make sure that there is a lot of value to be had. And they're already trying to rotate to the bottom of the map to go for the Siege Giant. They should easily be able to get those. Fury is obviously reporting back to the team, saying, listen boys, there's 4 topside, so you better get some value at the bottom of the map, because these bad boys are currently destroying my turrets. And yeah, at this point it looks like they're at least getting the Siege Giants. That's extra experience and a chance to break through the wall here too. There's a rotation towards the top as they're helping Fury out. Casanova obviously needs to be a bit careful with Tassadar. That guy, Tassadar has a lot of cool tools. I mean, you have the vision on the map through your trade on both of the turn-in spots. You have also a good wave clear. The quest, if you complete it, is really starting to work well with your 16, as you have the Psionic Echo, but at the same time, the hit point pool is really low. Talking about hit points, Crone is losing a few against the bomb that connects here by Tracer, but so far not enough damage yet Obviously, with the Tracer setup, you want to go into the additional life leech on Tassadar, which is exactly what's being done here. Not a single kill in the game yet. Most of the previous maps we've seen early drops against one team or another. But right now it's all about the rotation. And Fury is taking a little bit of a beating here. He's actually starting to suffer a bit. That wave clear from Gul'dan in particular is really starting to work against him. Having grenade build from Morales with a clear on level 1, the blast shield on level 4, and even more aggression up towards the top, where Tracer is getting pretty much wrecked by Crone as well. Crone is honestly just murdering them here. When it comes to the slows, by the way, the bed of barbs is really helping out to proc the level 1 talent on Reyna, and so does obviously the oil spill that we're seeing from Blaze at the bottom of the map. But the setup is ready as everybody is starting to move around this. There's another stun attempt against Fury, already the first connect made. 30 turned in gems against 22, slight lead right now for the Lost Boys. And they must feel good. I mean, the momentum is definitely in their hands. They have been playing well throughout the series and forced this back. But it's always a little bit scary because, I mean, the way they ended up in this situation in the first place was just the late game that we saw from Looking for Work every time. In the early game, the Lost Boys just playing extremely well, getting kills, dominating the map, dominating the team fights. And then as the game continues and we're seeing late game pressure, that's normally where we had the big advantages for Looking for Work. And they're again at this point going for Morales, and that should be a kill, and it is indeed. Morales is down and Droplets gets the shield on Tracer, therefore no kill against the red team. So well done. It was a close call though. Especially, of course, with Blaze rotating in, but that also opened up an opportunity for Swaps to turn in the gems that he was still holding, so that worked out. With that said, we're now having another rotation around here towards the middle. 7 ready for both teams. Psionic Reach for Tassadar makes it a little bit safer even against that. Uh-oh, Jimmy! Jimmy! Oh, and Horsty survives that death coin and nearly dropped him. Unbelievable. But instead, the Howling Blast from Fury Arthas is able to make sure that at least nobody from Looking for Work dies either. But you can tell how this is really a game that is on the limit. I mean, both of them know that everything is on the line here. This is one of those moments when you're seeing Looking for Work trying to aim for the #1 spot again. Good stutter step here by Hosty, gets a lot of damage in. It's actually the blue team that gets the first Web Weavers. A kill would be fantastic at this moment in time. Tracer starting to move in, but Morales obviously with the continuous heals here from the backline. And even with Gul'dan at the top, they couldn't force a fight and get a kill. So now we're again talking for about the Web Weavers, and no way, Sergey. Crone is getting dropped and racked, and they're trying to also hold on to the gems here. Yep, a few are definitely lost. Fury, on the other hand, needs a shield, and he needs it soon, because if those stuns come out, then he's in trouble. There's the shield, but that kill was, of course, perfect. I mean, he's one of the main wave clear heroes that they have here, and he just gets annihilated just as the Web Weavers come down. The one in the mid lane is unassisted. The one at the bottom is facing Leoric right now. It's a 4 versus 4 at the top lane. But there's still value to be had for the Lost Boys. But it could have been so much better with the Gul'dan assistance. But then again, as I say that, this one has already taken a massive amount of damage. There's some wave clear available, but finally it falls. So Leo's dealing with the mid lane right now. There's another jet propulsion and the kill against Fury. You could actually tell that the jet, but Circling wasn't even aware that you would hit that. And Cattle wasn't quite following up on that immediately, but then all of a sudden they realized, boys, wait a second, Arthas is nearly down. Let's drop him. Good night, sweet prince, as Arthas bites the dust. 10 is still a little bit sooner in the hands of Looking for Work, but obviously they lost the top fort now, which in itself is already a nuisance. There's the Entomb, as you would expect. Force Wall! No Archon! Okay! Going for the Force Wall. It's the Tupperware build. You basically entomb a target, and then you drop the Force Wall. You're closing the lid, so to say, and making sure that they can't escape anymore. Talking about not being able to escape, Illusion might be able to escape. Nice! Well done. First the Horrify, and then we have the bunker that negates the Tracer Bomb. So that wasn't bad either. That was actually pretty awesome. At this point, we're seeing Casanova being pushed again up to the top. Yeah, there's the stun. Red Web Weavers this time coming through. Is Leo going to drop the Entomb? Are they going to go for it? Good damage against droplets on Tracer, but look at Anubarak. Yeah, he still has that burrow available though. So yeah, there's the force wall coming in. But yeah, that didn't really do anything. And Ubera can still dive underneath that, so if he has the cooldown up, then it doesn't really do a whole lot for you. But now with the objective, they're obviously going to try and take a bit of a lead in terms of structures and push through with that. So with Cattle now moving through, let's look at the bot lane for a moment. The 1 versus 1 as we're having Swaps Magugo up against Zergling here. The Leo Blaze lane in the middle, 4-man defense, and so far they're actually doing fantastic with defending. They dropped the one in the middle without taking any serious damage whatsoever. Cattle is trying to rotate, Topka gets interrupted for a moment, so they at least want to break through the wall here. Leo and Blaze are still fighting it out at the bottom of the map, with Leo getting caught on the other side of the fort and has to move away from this. But up at the top, the party is still in full play here. But again, another good defense. Really well done. I mean, so, seriously, Lost Boys with a very solid defense here. And now we're having another opportunity for both of the teams for a turn-in, but we've already seen the Lost Boys turn in an additional 45 gems, whereas every single gem is still in the hands of looking for work on their part, so they need to secure a couple of those, especially when we're looking over to Droplets again on his Tracer. Okay, Tracer, they're starting to go in for that again. Here comes the engage. Nature's Cure already being used. Swaps moves in, and there's the Trample once again. The wall is in play. Cuts them off for a second. Gets actually dropped as they are saving, well, Malf, but is he able to save Leo? Yes, another wall is being built faster than the Donald ever could, and now we're having them retreat without a problem whatsoever. That at least worked out quite well for Tacita. That was a nice cover. Blue Web Weavers are once again descending though. Droplets was trying to turn in 19, but wasn't able to do that because there was already secure top side. That's a cool move against Hostia though. If they can get the kill here, and they should. Oh, and there it is. Nice. Then it's a different story. Now they go for Crowan. There comes the Mediman. Got the second kill. The second kill and the third kill. And Noob is dead too. Oh my god, guys. There we go. In comes another force wall. Yeah, Zergling just wants to get out there, but the force wall keeps him in play for a bit longer. He's finally able to save himself with the help of Collusion, who obviously just heals him from the other side. But now that we're having 3 heroes taking down, those Web Weavers are just not gonna do anything. Well, up at the top lane in the meantime, we're having Fury starting to struggle as he's solo against the Web Weavers. But Dark Chimera is now taking over, and they're not going to lose too much here. They obviously already have the lead in experience, and therefore the extra talent. Swaps with the 29 gems. This is still probably the biggest problem right now for the red team. They need to turn those gems in. They have 86 at this point in time. And that means if you actually lose a team fight right now, if you get ganked at any more point, then you are in a situation where you're going to lose a ton. Especially the 32 that we're seeing on Leo are just a bit too much. Second opinion, by the way, is taken here now as well. So grenade focus on most of the talents here. We're still having 5 kills against 1 in favor of looking for work. Quests are obviously completed, and the 16 would give them also the Psionic Echo. 16 would also be fantastic for Leo, just mention that. But yeah, they need a couple of turn-ins here. They need them soon. Going for Zergling right now. Cattle is also there. Swaps has to move out and does do that just in time. It's dangerous. Again, if you don't turn in your gems, it is tricky. You lose one team fight, you lose those 100 gems that they have right now, and all of a sudden it's a completely different game. But right at this point, looking for work has definitely the upper hand. They might have lost the fort, but with the kills, with the lead in experience, and everything else that they're currently putting on the table here, they are doing exceptionally well. And here comes again the interrupt attempt as they're going for Cattle. Roots are a little bit too late, but there's the Hyperion. One ult already used, and the wall is in play once more. I always wonder who paid for that. But he doesn't may. Casanova. Yeah, there's a dimensional shift. As I said before, he has to be careful with the hit point pool. Alterac can be easily sniped. But now there's another 15 gems that were turned in on the side of the Lost Boys. But can, looking for work, finally get another turn in for themselves. Can they get rid of those 113 gems? The attack against Casanova, shielding himself. 41. Oh, is that an opportunity? They go straight in. Where's the ult on Dark Chimera? It doesn't get close enough for this. Didn't even see the Entomb. Entomb would have been great here as well. But they're trying to go for the kill against Hosty. They can't make that work, but there's the Horrify. And now the trouble for looking for work. They're all low. The Entomb is great though. Great Entomb to save them, at least for the time being. But you see exactly what I've been talking about. They were all so low, and if they would have died, that would have maybe even been, I don't want to say the end of the game for them, but they would have lost a lot of the potential momentum that they can build up. That's a 2-3-man setup and a fantastic ult from Malfurion. What a setup here. They get only one kill from it, but it was great. First the Howling Blast, then we're seeing the wall being dropped. And then shortly after, we have the immediate follow-up with all the damage and the kill against at least one of the heroes. Now swaps with a turn-in attempt. Cattle can't do anything about it. That's at least 42 gems already delivered. We're going again into the backline here. They're trying to slow them down. Hosty with the heals. Cattle with a problem. Droplets looking for a kill, looking for a bomb, looking for a connect. The Howling Blast does. Red Web Weavers come down, and there's the Entomb again, and that's the end of Jimmy, maybe? Ooh, the wall! And the kill, but the counter damage, and now two of them die. And that's exactly what I said the entire time. All the gems are lost, and that's why, because Tracer is too greedy. Tracer went in and she said, well, diamonds are girls' best friends, and she didn't want to give them up. So they had Leo deliver the gems instead, and now Tracer is down and all the gems are gone too. And obviously that's an easy defense at this point for the Lost Boys. 16 versus 16, 3 kills against 7. This is exactly the game that we kind of wanted and expected here, to be honest, as a game 5. Back and forth the entire time. 16 on Cattle, and we have both of the teams now again more or less on eye level. Both of them have destroyed a single fort. Actually, I'm lying. We're having a second one destroyed on the side of looking for work in the mid lane. But it's pretty even right now. It's pretty even. Let's look at the damage for a moment. Damage output. Tracer on 44,000 at this point. And 56k and 55k for Gul'dan and Reyna. The double support setup here. Putting a lot of the focus onto Tracer herself. Furious sitting there trying to walk Cattle down. Gem count, by the way. 38 against 42. It's honestly all about the kills here. The medivac is still interesting to me. I mean, it's a good tool to save you, but especially with Jimmy, I mean, seriously, did you expect anything else but a stim drone? Jimmy, on the other hand, he's already a little bit salty, and rightfully so. He's just saying, like, what the hell? There's the Hyperion again. They're making the play, moving past. Leo comes in, and Tomb already against Collusion. Force Wall is in, and there it comes. The medivac for the safe play, but they are trying to burn them down, and this is actually Blaze in trouble, and he's trying to get away, but Circling gets cut off by the wall. Good Horrify, he survives. He dies in the end. Arthas has fallen too, though. It's always trades the entire time. We're seeing trades and objective, we're seeing trades and kills. Like, it is getting a bit nuts here. So once again, we're having a turn-in potentially from the Lost Boys as they have enough gems to secure themselves another Web Weaver wave. But here comes Droplets, trying to look for another kill. Walls everywhere, good root against Hosty. The heals from Collusion, he doesn't even know who to heal first. Cattle is in trouble, gets the shield, moves out, and gets the heals now too from Morales. But again, Gul'dan with the damage output, poking and prodding the entire time. Casanova does the exact same thing. They're starting to rotate back over again, and they protect the points. But here in the middle, Casanova is saying, guys, I really want to get rid of those 29, and he can. Alright, to the left side, another camp's taken. Small lead experience now for looking for work. It's a 2-2, it's map 5. It is map number 5, and which team is going to take the series? Is it the full reverse sweep, or are we seeing looking for work finishing what they started? They have enough gems finally to get a turn-in. And at this point, they're only shy 4 more gems to make that reality. And Casanova holds all 8 that they currently have. But obviously, we also have enough gems for the Lost Boys. But the turn-in is always contested the entire time. The poke, Casanova with one storm after another, has the vision, of course, as well. Everybody darting around the camp in the middle as it's finally being depushed. Here comes the engage, and great reaction from Tassadar. The problem is that Leo is still in trouble. Can turn it around maybe with an entomb here if he drops it against Circling, forcing at least the bunker out so far. No attempts by him. Fury is watching cattle. Problem is, can they interrupt that? And yes, the Howling Blast is there. Fury has to come into the army. Again, the engage into the backline. They're going for Tassadar once again. Casanova drops the wall. Hosty, in the meantime, gets healed by Morales as Tracer connects another quick bomb. Botlane gets pushed. There's the horrified Tracer in trouble, moving out. Leo with the entomb late. And going for Hosty, but Leo falls, activating trade value here as we're having another attempt to drop Blaze. And Blaze is low, engages again. Fury on 50 hit points and actually gets the heal and moves out again. Dark Chimera receives another shield as Droplets is already low, and especially Gul'dan is absolutely bringing the pain here the entire time. 82,000, 80,000 on the side of Reyna. And here comes the quick move over to the left side, escorting everybody back to safety. 5 versus 4. Leo with a vision. Still the interrupt potential obviously present thanks to all the poke that we have with Casanova. Leo is going to be back soon. First interrupt by the Howling Blast, and they're still fighting over this. Both of the teams can go for the turn-in. And talking turn-in, we're actually seeing Crowan starting to move down to the bottom to see if he can maybe deliver a few gems to the second turn-in point. Level 20 close now for looking for work. Closer and closer on the Storm Talents, and they really want them there. And right now, they have the chance for that turn-in and for the level 20. And here we go. Red Web Weaver Wave coming in, pushing through the middle. Buried Alive, finally! Buried Alive, the tool. And we have the Force Barrier now as well. The extra range on the wall and a cooldown reduction as well. The Donald would be happy to build a wall in the first place. Tassadar is already a step farther than him. He's dropping them 1 second after another, and they're getting bigger and better. He has the best walls. He has all the walls. He has every wall. He's fantastic. And we're seeing the Legion of Northrend now too. The Astral Communion, and get stuffed, of course, too. This is the moment. This is really the opportunity where you can try and get a couple of hits in. That Buried Alive is a massive game changer. If you get that connected, we are talking all of a sudden. Caduceus Reactor already taken. Tassadar also dropping one wall after another. Again, pretty much no cooldown at this point. And we're starting to go straight in with another pressure play through the middle. Up at the top, the fort is already falling. Down to the bottom, Gul'dan has to try and defend now as well. But they make the rotation, and they're trying to prep for the next one. It's insanely close here. It is honestly insanely close. We're having the entire move straight through the top. Gul'dan rotating a little bit slower from the bottom after you already went for the defense here. Tassadar is looking for another opportunity to make Aya great again. But there's the Web Weaver eliminated. And they have to retreat for now. Alright. Taking the opportunity maybe a little bit later. Going for the boss at the top to try and set up a bit of a trap. Keep in mind, there's fortified bunker now. We're having the Haunt. Weak spot acquired. And obviously the rewind as well. So it's pretty dicey at this point. Damage output. Honestly, I was expecting Gul'dan and Reyna to be a little bit higher at this. But look at the siege damage that we have with Gul'dan. 228,000. Oh god, that's insane. Leo is currently sitting at 187, but yeah, they're guarding the turn-in spot again because obviously the Lost Boys still have enough gems for one. Cattle alone, 42 for him. It's always a problem when you're the main tank and you hold the major amount of the gems of your team that you need to be careful. But yeah, at this point, stun against Tracer, Droplets jumping out. It's all about the next fight, guys. One kill could be enough. You take a kill, you go for boss. You take 2 kills, you go for core or for a keep. It is so insanely close right now. And they're looking for that kill. Yeah, the root doesn't connect, but a lot of the storm damage does. Tassadar is poking, and those walls keep coming. And again, the cooldown is pretty much non-existent at this point for Tassadar. So, yep. They're going straight into those setups with another stun attempt against Leo, who goes in, buried alive, buried alive, buried alive! No, but we have the fear! Fury is down, Fury is down. I honestly think that Leo might have been able to save him with a good buried alive, but all of a sudden we could see that reverse sweep. We could still see the reverse sweep. It is boss time, baby. You get a kill, you go for boss, but that buried alive is still there. Oh, Steve for a second gets isolated. Nicely done with the dimensional shift on Tassadar once again. This time the nature cure saves him. Where's the buried alive? Doesn't use it yet. Casanova's still in trouble. And there's the astral communion. And maybe the kill. Look at them, all of them so low. And oh, Leo didn't hit anything here. 200 hit points on Cattle. The slow is there. Droplets gets again stunned. Leo moves away, gets the shield. This is a 4 versus 5, but what a battle. God, the buried alive didn't actually hit anything here, and Cattle just barely able to get the quick cocoon out against Droplets. He would have been able to clean house for sure. 6 seconds, 5 seconds until Arthas is back. What a game. This is insane. This is honestly insane. And the wall keeps coming down here. No chance to go for a boss, despite the fact that they were trying to move in with the Medivac. But as I say that, we actually see a boss attempt here from the red team. Okay. I mean, there's Vision on Circling in the middle. Anubarak is now back. Can they actually pull it off? Buried Alive is back. The wall as well. Guys, they can actually make that play. They're making that play. And they're actually just going for the turn-in, or what's happening here? 98 gems for them, and the boss is about to be taken. They give the boss up. They trade boss for turn-in. That's what we're seeing here. Boss gets traded for turn-in at this point. They're just saying, alright, let's get the web weavers down and then take it from there. Yeah, there's already the Medivac. The problem is, they forgot one. They forgot one. Zergling is sitting there, and this is like, team. And yeah, I'm not sure what to say, dude, but you are dead. You are dead. You can bunker that up all you want, but you are definitely gone. So Zergling goes down. That's 20 gems down the train as well. They can defeat the Web Weaver right away. Obviously, the boss defense at the top is already in full force. But yeah, that's one left behind. That's pretty much Morales just saying like, dude, I don't care about you. It's like, yeah, we can leave him behind. That's not an Ohana moment. That's not an Ohana moment. Some people say there's no man left behind, but in this case, Blaze just simply left to die. It was a little bit of a sad moment, to be honest. If I'm Blaze, I'm pretty salty here. That doesn't really make for a good team environment, to tell you the truth. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a bit salty when he comes back from this. And doesn't drop the bunker for Morales either. Either way, 6 kills against 9 with 24-25 minutes into the game now. The keeps are still all there. Boss has even been taken. But now we don't have a single team that has an opportunity for a turn-in. They're all short. Red team is a little bit closer as they're trying to sniff this one out. And where's the Howling Blast when you need it? There it is. Where's the Buried Alive? They're going for the camp instead. And they're taking it. They take the camp and they can try and move through the middle. This game is still insane. We're talking 5th map in a best of 5. And they are just fighting around the entire time. Trading kills, trading action. Look at the damage output that we're seeing from these boys. 96,000. Tesla sitting on 42k. We're having 98,000 and 94,000 for Gul'dan and Reyna, and they are just absolutely slaughtering every single team fight. That double support setup has so much sustain that it's tricky to take them down. So far, Tassadar and Malfurion haven't even died yet, but it's all about swaps again. And they're already setting up a little bit of a trap here. They want those quick kills, and they need those quick kills. That's the most important part. They really need them right now. With Tracer just basically nearly being unkillable whenever Leo is able to drop a good Buried Alive, and Swaps usually holds the Tomb back for a long time during these battles. Yeah, they're setting up another set to this. What is happening here? Really? Oh, okay, it's on. It is on, boys. There's the backdoor attempt, and they're going for it, and they immediately realize, oh shit, we have a problem. Houston, 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 we have a problem. Reyna down, and that's the end of Gul'dan, and the Red Web Weavers are already pushing. The bottom keep is nearly falling on the side of the Lost Boys. Morales dies too, and oh my god, they're getting shit on in this last fight. They went for the YOLO moment here, and it backfires hard. Catalyst, the only survivor. The keep at the bot lane is already gone. Now we're all of a sudden seeing the Web Weavers pushing through every single lane, and the Nubarak is like, boys, I got this. I got Beatles. Cattle very optimistic here. As on the other side, I mean, it's a race, guys. It's a race. Who is gonna win it? We don't know. We don't know. It could be either one. It could be either one. It could be the 5 heroes on the left or Cattle on the right. Who knows? That's game, and that's the series. Looking for work. They finish what they started, and they take down the Lost Boys with a 3-2 victory in this best of 5.